guys, it's Katie here with Life the Mundane. This is my husband Mark. As some of you guys probably saw, he did a video with me on Saturday. I will link that below and above for you guys. But today we're going to do a more casual video, just getting feedback from homeschool dads. I'm actually collaborating with Mrs. Mom's Homeschool. You guys should definitely check out her video. I will link it below once she's posted it. But we are both have a list of questions that we came up with together that we are asking our homeschool husbands. They have not seen it. Have you seen this list?
No.
At all? No? Okay.
No.
No matter how much he wanted to see it. I was tempted to sneak a peek. He has not seen these questions. He doesn't have them. He does not know what I'm about to ask him tonight, and that's part of the fun of it. So we're just going to jump into asking you some questions about being a homeschool dad. So let's get started.
Okay.
All right, so number one, what was your initial reaction to the idea of homeschooling?
I was not sure. Growing up homeschooled, there were definitely times where I wanted to be in school, and I was unsure at that point.
Okay, and so that was your initial reaction. What do you think about it now?
Oh, it's definitely the best option, especially for our children in specific. I couldn't imagine it any other way.
What do you think changed, like the big change in there?
Briefly,
I know a lot's happened, but
honestly, a lot of maturing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you involved in our day-to-day homeschooling? And if so, how?
Yes and no.
Okay, you want to expand a little?
Okay. I work an alternative work schedule, so I am actually home 3 days that they're homeschooling because of my work schedule is an odd one. So the 3 days that I'm home while they're schooling, some days I don't help because I'm working on a project of my own. Some days I'll just take the babies so that they're not a distraction.
Which is a really big help.
and some days I'll sit down with a math lesson or a reading lesson and help. If our child's struggling, I'll help walk them through and help make sure that they understand each point, or just as a listening ear to listening to those beginner readers so that mom can work with the other kids.
Yeah, because it's a lot of beginning readers. I think it's really tiresome. So I need an extra set of ears sometimes. And then, so do you actually teach any of the subjects? It's like a bonus question, not really one of the questions.
No, not currently. I have taught a bit of a engineering course with our boys a year ago, but currently, no, I am not.
Yeah, so sometimes we have hands-on projects that we do. Maybe it'll be an actual course like this engineering one that he did with the boys. Other times it's just like, hey, we're going to do this hands-on history project or something. Dad, can you help out with that? And so he'll jump in and help out with that. And it's made it really fun for the kids. They love it when Dad comes in to help. Okay, so question 4. What is your favorite thing about homeschooling, and what's your least favorite thing about homeschooling?
Favorite thing about homeschooling is definitely, making our own schedule just for our families. We celebrated this week. Actually, we celebrated Father's Day on Monday, and so we were able to do a half day of school on Monday because we're schooling through the summer right now. But we did a half day of school on Monday, and then we just caught it up today.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites too. What's your least favorite thing about homeschooling?
It seeps into every aspect of life.
When we moved into this house, he specially requested that the dining room only be a dining room.
Yes.
And not a schoolroom. Because if you guys have seen my schoolroom video from our old house, you guys saw that the whole schoolroom, or the whole dining room, was way more schoolroom than dining room.
Yeah.
And so that was his special request, is that he loves homeschooling and he's happy to do it, but could I keep it out of the dining room?
Yes.
So I will have a video coming up this summer that shows you guys my new schooling area that's outside of the dining room. Let's see. Can you answer the homeschool mom's most frequently asked question that we get asked all the time, no matter where we go, and that is, what about socialization?
Talk to one of my kids at any point. That's all. Just talk to one of them. There are 6 of them. They get a lot of interaction with each other. They play with the neighbor kids. every day. They play with their cousins every week. They play with their church friends every week. There are field trip groups that they are in monthly. There are co-ops they're in bi-weekly. They have plenty of people that they are around and socialize with.
Yeah, and they can spend more time socializing during those social times because they're actually social occasions instead of trying to socialize during classes in school, you know. So, yeah, you did that pretty well. I think I should bring you along for my next doctor's appointment when they're questioning me about that. She'll be like, hey, can you explain that to him? Okay, question 6. Do you know how much your wife spends on homeschooling curriculum?
No. That is an area, we work our budget together, but that is an area that I intentionally ignore.
Ignorance is bliss.
I trust my wife. The one point I had to say, okay, it's enough, is before, if you've seen any of her pictures from when we were moving, I had remodeled our basement. And when I dove into that project and I realized the main roof of our basement was entirely taken over by school supplies, at that point I said, we have too much, you need to get rid of some before you buy any more.
It was a really large basement and it was full of, he'd be like, what's this box? I'm like, school stuff. What's this box? School stuff.
Which was very difficult for me to go through because I can't just go through it and say, yes, we need this, no, we don't, because...
As much as he wanted to, and he wanted to say we don't need any of it, I couldn't.
I knew we needed some of it.
So, yes. We worked that out. But, let's see. 7th question. What is one thing, I think you might have answered this, but what is one thing that you think that your homeschool wife has too much of?
School supplies.
Curriculum?
No, school supplies. My wonderful wife, and this is a big compliment, it may not sound this way, but it is. She is a bargain hunter, and she's a great bargain hunter, but she has trouble passing up a bargain. So there was about 2-3 years where anytime a former teacher was cleaning out their garage or garage sale or retiring and getting rid of all of their stuff, she'd come home with a van load. And
like one year I came home with the little clocks that the kids can use to tell time, to practice telling time, and I came home with like
5.
No, I think it was around 10.
Yes.
And we only have 6 kids, and we didn't have 6 kids at that time.
And like all of the borders that would decorate the top of a school classroom, bulletin board stuff. We had boxes of that stuff, and she got it very inexpensively, but there was a lot.
Some of it was free.
A lot of it was free, and I know that.
Yeah. Okay, that was an easy one for him. Okay. What is your favorite curriculum that we use? Can you name a curriculum that we use?
I can name several, but that's a tough one for me to think. My favorite that we use? Oh, I think currently my favorite that we use is one that is just working well for our boys, and that is the teaching textbooks math.
Yeah. Plus, it reduces your wife's stress level, which always makes your life easier. Makes your life easier because they do the math on the computer, and mom doesn't have to be super involved. And were you involved in picking any of the curriculum?
Let's see.
He listens to a lot about the curriculum.
I do listen to a lot about the curriculum. No. And honestly, what it is I've said this before every book sale, before every convention, I will sit there and I will be a willing ear and I will listen. And there have been multiple times she's said, I am trying to decide between A and B. And I say, I can't make this decision for you because I'm not the one teaching it. You are. If you think it's going to be difficult for you to teach, and if you think A is going to be difficult for you to teach and B is going to be easier, then get B. But I can't make that decision, especially if I'm just looking at it financially, as to what is going to be best for you and our children. And I would rather something that you know you can succeed with than for me to look at a financial number.
And honestly, he's been involved in a lot of the selecting of curriculum just by being a listening ear and having me be able to be like, okay, I need to talk through all the pros and the cons. And then he gives feedback, and he does say, well, I have seen you do really well with this kind of thing before. I do think finding something a little more independent would be helpful for you and take some stress off of you.
There have been a few times where you've come up and you've had one you're really excited about, and then you talk about how it's all of your doubts with it. And I go, hold on.
This doesn't
If
sound
it's
like a good
A,
fit.
B, and C, you've struggled with those before. Are you sure this is best?
Yeah. So he's definitely helped in that sense, but no, he doesn't actually pick out the curriculum. So the last question, not too painful so far, right?
No.
The last question is, what is a way that you can support your wife, or that you do support your wife in homeschooling? He does a lot.
This happens about once a month. This is the one big thing that I try to do for my wife is if I've been gone at work and I come home and I see she's stressed, or if we're just at home and I see she's just overwhelmed and it's been a rough day or a rough week, I'll look at her and say, go out to dinner. Yeah. Just you. I'll put the kids to bed. I'll do dinner. I'll do the dishes. Go out. And it's one of those, she's done everything from gone out and just gotten dinner by herself and just relaxed, to gone out, gotten dinner and gone seen a movie, to lesson planning for the next few weeks, because there have been times where the stress came from not having a plan, but just for me to say, go out on your own for a few hours. Don't wait up. If I go to bed before you get home, that's fine. Just relax, de-stress, and that way you can start the next day, or if it's the end of the week, the next week fresh.
It's usually at the end of the week.
Yeah, but you can start the next week fresh and not feeling behind or overwhelmed.
And that was a really hard thing for me to get used to at first. When he would do that, he would be like, you need to leave. And I would really, really struggle with that because of the mom guilt, and didn't want to dump things on him, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do, and it was really a struggle. Sometimes it is still a struggle, occasionally.
Sometimes. There are times where I feel like I'm throwing you out of the house.
Occasionally it is still a struggle, but it is also, every time it happens, every time I go out, and I just come back so much more refreshed and ready to go, and I'm such a better mom, and a better wife, and a better teacher when I come back. Just getting that perspective, sometimes I just go off and do my devotions alone. Whatever it is, it just tends to help a lot, and I really appreciate it. And he does a lot of little things too. Like, I know he said that's the one big thing, but again, just like jumping in if I need somebody, to help with the little ones, or even just being like, hey, could you read the instructions to this kid while I'm doing this with the other kids, so they're not all coming at me. So super supportive, and I think he also just does a good job of expressing the things he does like. There are some times that he'll come in and say, hey, could you work on this a little bit more, or is it possible that we could work this into the school day? Never jerk about it, not usually. But
wow, we went from never to not usually real quick.
But anyways, not usually, being derogatory or anything like that. But he's always really good about, if he is asking for maybe something different or a little bit more, that he's also, asking for offering some compliments or what I'm doing right. And I really appreciate that. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed hearing a little bit more. If you have other questions or you want to see other videos with my husband, drop that in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. And I post videos every Wednesday and Saturday on making the most of little moments in homeschooling, home management, parenting, and everything in between. And if those are topics that interest you guys, I would love if you would take a quick second to subscribe. Click on the little bell notification to be notified when a new video comes out. And share this video if you found it helpful or funny or encouraging or sad or depressing, whatever. Share it. I'd love for you guys to do that. And we'll talk to you again later this week. Bye.
Bye.